Okay, I had to redo this because running out of said storage space here, right? Okay, so yeah, there's something to be said about once you get acclimated or accustomed to whomever you're dealing with, whether it's your immediate surroundings or whether it's at the collective at large, right? Okay, what I've come to realize is some people more or less are fixated, prefixated on viewing you through what, tarot lens, or viewing you in pieces and parts of like archetypes within the tarot deck. Yeah, I know. um that's another thing I was thinking about. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, having like brain farts and shit. Yeah, it's like they don't, it's like people wanting me to, what is that, remain the student or some shit, or in the audience too, shit like that. Yeah, to me it's like over time, yeah, it's like as you keep working on yourself or whatever, yeah, you're supposed to flourish and blossom and come into your own. Not only that, be able to stand on your own 2 feet in your own right, in your own unique manifestation. Yeah, and that's the thing I've come to realize, like how much people have been distracting me and constantly distracting me, whether it's my immediate surroundings or whether it's the collective at large at a given point in time. And the more I realize and step back, I realize that people really just wanted to either use me to flex and draw attention to themselves. Not necessarily, but I've known about not necessarily caring really to actually acknowledge me or whatever. And that actually coincides with a reader talking about gaslighting someone or someone's recently. Yeah, so it's like when you, over time, when you step back and the more you get a bird's eye view, and the more you realize like who and what you're dealing with more and more, that's when you truly become empowered, is correct. Yeah, it's like at that point in the end, the only place you can go is up from there. Yeah, because nothing can get to you at that point too. And then you also realize too that, but coinciding with people just wanting to use me to flex and shit or whatever. And it's like too, I'm realizing too, like not to, if they're only willing to engage with me in a certain way at a certain level, that tells me a lot too. So there's a fine line between someone being told by on the other side, or their intuition or whatever people want to call it, not to engage with someone, right? So there's that side to it, but then there's also choice. So a person and a person's can pick and choose whether to engage, number one. Number two, whether or not how they're going to engage with someone. So, when once you see how people interact with you or whatever, yeah, you're not gonna give a shit. No, because you see how they're interacting with you, you see where they're willing to level with you at. And also too, you're not going to care to engage with people, number one, that are just using you to flex. And then number two, if they always gotta like one up you and be the top dog, or the most intelligent, always in the room, always above you, like that, you're not already with that type of person too, you're not on the same level. No. So, figured I'd throw this shit out there or whatever, because it's like it needs to be said or whatever. So it's like the more and more I'm realizing, I'm like, you know what? I have given in actuality, granted there's always more homework I can do, so don't get it twisted in regards to really utilizing and harnessing, whatever at that's given to me at my said disposal. So don't get it twisted wrong and you know, misconstrue or whatever what I'm saying. But it's like, you know, it's weird in the end too, because it's like if I'm actually so and so being or whatever in consciousness, it's crazy that in reality people should be coming to me or whatever for, like, for what is it, wisdom or insight or all this stuff. It's like, why has it been just me going to all these people? And it's been actually, in actuality, it's been almost 2 years. Yeah, there was like me running around like a chicken with my head cut off and shit in the collective, and I'm like, you know what? I'm like, why you shouldn't be, the thing is, you shouldn't be made to feel like a chicken with your head cut off running around. No, it's like, you know, it's what is that? To a degree it's productive, but then it's like to another degree it's counterproductive. So, you know, it's like yeah, it's just, I really look back and I think, man, it's like, yeah, it's good that, you know, I'm lending an ear and embodying, was it Lisa Simpson and INFJ or confidant or confidant or whatever. But then it's like, whoa, wait a minute, you know? Yeah, so I was just kind of like, in the end, I'm like dumbfounded and shit or whatever. And I can shine in my own right and focus on myself, but I'm realizing too, people can judge me or whatever all they want, but then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it's like, you know, if I haven't really, right now in actuality, the reality is, I'm finally putting myself first. So if that, therein lies the illusion with selfish, because what's on the other side of this, the illusion of selfish is you're finally putting yourself first. But to others, it'll appear as you being selfish, but the actuality of reality of it is you are just putting yourself first and foremost. So, you know, that's really, in the end of the day, more or less, that's all it is. So, you know, and that's what I'm realizing too. People don't actually want you to put yourself first and foremost, because then once you do, you're not going to be paying anybody no mind anymore. You're going to be completely, practically consumed by your own empowerment. You're going to be completely focused on yourself and your overall well being and personal development and growth and everything else, you know. Was that everything else under the stars and so on and so forth? Yeah. So, you know, when I really look back and I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm like, I have listened to a lot of people, and it's like, you know, it's okay if I don't listen as much anymore, you know, giving myself, for me anyway, you know, to each their own or whatever. But for me, it's like stepping back is like, okay, you know, unless it's like I really need to listen to something is different. But yeah, you know, because like everything's always still situational or whatever. But there's even stuff, even now, I'm going to go back to and whatever I'll listen to and jot notes and shit like that. Yeah, like the nitty gritty or the pertinent stuff or what have you. But, you know, yeah, I'm just like, you get to that point where you're just like more or less so done with people, and then you realize like wherever they're leveling with you is wherever they're gonna level with you. Not only that, like not caring um to even level with people anymore, because it's like they're only gonna meet you where they want to meet you, or able to meet you, or willing to meet you for whatever reasons. And then you also realize like people really aren't each other's friend. No, it's like kind of weird, because it's like you're having to learn like this new territory and whatever, and how the reality of it is, and getting giving yourself permission, but also giving being comfortable enough to be like accept however things are. Yeah, and it's like too, you realize like if people aren't actually willing to engage with you, then they're not in actuality worth, they're not worth your time. No, and then you realize too, and a lot of these times with all people on platforms or people that are well known or things like that or whatever, I'm noticing too, is like they don't necessarily want to actually interact with you. Yeah, so it's kind of like people don't necessarily want to interact with you if you take attention away from them. I just hit it right there. Yeah, by embodying your own skill sets or intelligences that you've, you know, mastered, or your own unique self mastery or whatever in your own right, you know. I'm really realizing that now. But no, it's like I can have respect for people or whatever, but it's like at the end of the day, I'm realizing too, it's like, no, I need to just focus on myself and, you know, do my own thing or whatever, and don't give people no energies or whatever. Yeah, you really do have to be selfish with it. But not only that, too, is seeing where you indeed level with people and where they're indeed willing to level with you for whatever reasons. And it's like, I'm not saying they don't have like good reasons to a degree or whatever, or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like, come on. Yeah, it's like, in the end of the day, too, you're like, why bother? Why bother with people that it's not a conversation? It's just, oh, who's gotta be like the top dog at all times and shit. That's not a conversation. No, it's like, what is that? It reminds me. I'm trying to think. What is this with certain maybe earth signs or something? Females. I don't know if it has to do with like other females too, but it's partially the having to always be the center of attention, but not only that, people that they don't want to have anything to do with you or actually engage with you because you are equally yoked in your own right and equally intelligent in your own right. Yeah, so it's like once you acknowledge and realize like that the fact that people in the collective, they're not necessarily going to want to have anything to do with you just because of the mere sake and fact of the matter of you embodying your own unique self mastery. Really, that's all it is. Yeah, to get to the nitty gritty of it all, right? More or less. I know I got two. I got two. I've been putting India Temple incense on, and then what is it? I use Mysore sandalwood soap. I heard it's good. Was it antimicrobial shit like that? I just like the smell. Yeah, it smells like awesome. I don't know why. Some people be like, it smells like old man, burly old man, or whatever and shit. I'm like, oh. Yeah, I know. You kind of think of musty, but not quite, or whatever. I know. Anyway, Doom is curious here.